All right. Hey everyone, welcome to the SIG Docs new contributor meet and greet call. Today is August 6th, Tuesday. And yeah, so before I start, I want to let everyone know that this meeting is part of the Kubernetes community meetings and that we abide by the CNCF code of conduct, which boils down to be excellent to each other. So we only have one attendee today, Asad. So, Asad, usually what we do in these calls is we go around introducing ourselves, and then if you have any questions like regarding like contributing to documentation or like getting started with your contribution, like if you have any questions or doubts or anything, you can ask them here, and then yeah, we'll provide like, support for you to be able to make your first contribution. So I'll give an introduction about myself. My name is Sriram. I'm from Kerala, India, and yeah, I work with Kubernetes in my full-time job, and I also contribute on the side. I'm mostly active in SIG release. I'm part of the release team. Yeah, that's pretty much about me.
Okay, so I'm Asad and I'm from Pakistan. And This is my first time uh, contributing to open source. I haven't done it before. I really wanted to do it. A friend of mine and I were both colleagues, so we wanted to do it together. So we want to get started. He has been working on the cluster API for some time. He's also worked with Hessner, I think. So he's said it's a great experience working for open source. Although work is hectic, but I think I can find time for this. It's a great learning opportunity, and you can learn with a lot of people throughout the world. So yeah, I'm not sure how this works, but I hope to learn along the way.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Like that is exactly how everyone starts out.
Mhm.
Like in the beginning, we might not be as sure of things, or even like we might not even be like sure of what kind of contributions that we want to make. But yeah, these kinds of like the community will always be there to help you out and figure things out, and like we showing initiative and then having that interest to contribute itself is like a great thing. So yeah, usually what I do is if there are no other questions, I just like show some general things about contributing to the documentation. So uh, yeah, if you have anything, if you have anything specific that you want to talk about, we can do that, or like we can go through how you can get your first
Yeah,
contribution. Fine.
generic is fine for now. I think I'll have questions.
Okay.
I'll ask in between.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so usually what I show people here is that the Kubernetes.io website, the entire code for this. So this is the website, and all the documentation is also part of this. So all of the code for all of these resides in the Kubernetes/website repository. And yeah, you can like, whenever you're like trying to fix some changes to the documentation, this is where you'll like make the change. See that Abdul is also like joined. Hi Abdul. So we just got started with the call. Usually, what we do is we introduce ourselves, and like, if there are no questions, then we just talk about like general things, how you can get started with contributions and like, make your first contribution. So you can introduce yourself if you would like to.
Hello, guys. My name is Rahman, and um, I've joined this meeting to get familiar with Six Docs. I might have a couple questions as we move on with the meeting. But yes, nice meeting you.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'll just get this like general things out of the way. So I was talking to Asad here, like the Kubernetes.io website. So yeah, the first of all, this call is specific to SIG docs. So that's why I'm talking about the documentation and the website side of things, uh, rather than the actual Kubernetes code base. So that comes under Kubernetes/Kubernetes. Yeah, there I can see that you have your hand raised.
Yeah.
Do you have anything more? Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask that is there some place where we can be if we want to contribute ID via code?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? You were asking about contributing code, right?
Yeah. So since you mentioned that this meeting is specific to SIG's docs, so is that specific towards us contributing in docs? Does my question make sense?
Makes sense, yeah. So technically, this call is part of the documentation special interest group, SIG docs. So that is like the main focus of the call. But if people join and they have questions related to like, regular code contributions, I try to help them out there as well. So yeah, so as I said, all the code for Kubernetes itself is in the Kubernetes/Kubernetes repo, and all the website and documentation comes under the Kubernetes/website repo. So there are like opportunities for you to contribute code uh, in the website as well. It is not just entirely documentation. Like this entire website is built with Hugo, like the static site generator. So there are like there have been issues that come up where we want to change something to the entire like the website itself that involves writing code. So yeah, basically you can go through the issues and like see if something catches your eye. So I'll just share some basic things. Like you can look for like this triage accepted label. So this means that the reviewers have gone through the issue and they have accepted the issue. So this is something that needs to be worked on. But if an issue does not have triage accepted, or if it has like needs triage, then that means that this issue, like the reviewers have not gone through it. So it might be like this issue might not be needed. So the reviewers need to accept that first. So this is the same in the Kubernetes repo as well. The same standard is followed there. That's why I stress that. And yeah, you can look out for labels like help wanted or kind bug. So just take this one. Yeah, looks like some issues here have these are about documentation changes itself, but then occasionally you do find that there are issues which uh, like pertains to the web development part of this. Actually, you can give me a second. Yeah, if you look for the tag area/web development, you can find such issues. Yeah, go ahead, please.
So Srila, I and Asad, right? We're kind of familiar with Kubernetes. We've actually gotten our CKA done. Um,
Right.
we were considering more about contributing into a sub project by SIGs. Um, we looked into a couple projects like Cluster API, but
Mhm.
what's needed over here is I'd like want advice from you. Now, what projects can we jump into and like start getting familiar with the problem? The problem with Kubernetes basically is that um, like how do we start implementing it in a real world scenario, right?
Right,
Unless like you're of course working on a server side company or in your DevOps job.
right. Yeah, I totally get that. Like it can be intimidating. So one thing that I will recommend is that there is this website called Kubernetes.dev, and this has like all the resources that you would need to get started to contributing to Kubernetes. Like how do you set up the project in your local machine and so on. So things like that. So there are a lot of articles here, like getting started article this goes through how you can sign the contributor agreement and then get your first PRs ready and all of that. So thing that I want to focus here is the in the resources tab, you can find this community calendar. So if you open that, I'll post the link to this in the chat. If you open this one, you can see that you can basically see all the meetings that are happening for each project. So each sub project has their own weekly or bi-weekly call, and you can find all of them here. And you mentioned cluster API. So if you are interested in cluster API, like if you have experience and then if you would like to contribute to that, then that is something that you can look into. Then you can find the cluster API meeting and then join that meeting. And there mostly you'd be able to find people like reviewers who are like actually working in the cluster API special interest group. So you can like directly ask them that you're interested in contributing to this area and if they have any like, good first issues or something like that. So I agree that making your first contribution or like getting started is like very it can seem like a difficult thing, especially when you have not done this before. But mainly, I guess I would say like joining in these calls, like even if you don't have anything to say, just joining these calls and then like, listening like, what is going on in these calls, like that it really helps, and like eventually you'll be able to make your contribution there. Yeah, you would be able to find all the different groups here. I'll just zoom out and then okay, yeah. So yeah, mostly these happen in the America time zones, so that's why all of them are like towards night time here. Yeah, for us it will be like around night time, but then you should be able to like join these calls. So let's say if you are interested in contributing to the API server, you can find the API machinery like SIG meeting here, and then you can join that. That would have all the tech leads and all the reviewers for the API server, and they'll be discussing issues that they are working on. And usually in these meetings, if you join, people would also ask things like, is there anyone in the call who would like to take up this issue or something like that? So showing up and then basically showing up is like half the thing, I would say. Like if people, like if you have spent enough time around people that they know, like you're someone who is like interested in the area or interested in that particular SIG, then they'll be like okay with you taking up issues, or like you can even like ask questions that you have. People will help you make your first contribution. So that is the first thing that I would say. And the another thing is like you can join Slack, and all of these channels have like all of these different SIGs have different channels. So if you want cluster API, I can search for that. And, so I can see that there are all these different channels related to cluster API. So looks like there is a cluster API channel, and there are like cluster API AWS, cluster API Azure, and so on for each cloud provider. So if you join the cluster API channel, you can see like what is going on. Like people are talking about different issues and things like that. So being part of the channel also helps. Like you'll be up to speed on what is happening, and if something comes up, if some issue comes up that you are able to contribute to, you can also ask here. Yeah. We also have like the meeting notes and things like that, quick start guide and all of that linked in the channel. Yeah.
Okay, I have one question. So, do you recommend starting with the documentation contributions first, or directly jumping into code is fine for anyone who's starting up new?
I would say since you folks are like already familiar with Kubernetes and have used Kubernetes before, I would say that there is nothing stopping you from joining these calls. since both of you have the experience necessary to make these make the contribution, I would say you don't need to wait for until you make your first contribution in documentation. But if that is something that you're interested in, then definitely you can take a look. Because since you have the experience, you uh, would be able to find mistakes, or like even if some issue comes up here, then like let's say something related to a particular topic is not clear, or we need more documentation related to that, then I'm sure that you folks would be able to like contribute there. Like here you can find like an issue that says incomplete horizontal pod autoscalar documentation. So this issue is accepted also. So if you have the knowledge to like fix this, then you can like raise a PR, and then people would be like, happy to get it merged. So yeah, but doesn't mean that you should like this is usually the recommended way for people, especially if they don't have much experience with Kubernetes. Because people would be using the documentation to learn also, but then there is like, no requirement that you should do this. You can directly join any of the cluster API calls, and then let people let the leads there know that you're interested, and people would be like happy to have you.
Okay,
And this
got it.
applies to all the different groups, not just cluster API. Yeah. Yeah, that is pretty much everything I had. If you folks have any questions or anything, you can reach out to me in Slack. Other than that, okay, I just saw this message from Observe. Any project you'd suggest to look into noise fix? So I would say like there is another repository called Kubernetes/community, where you can find all the, so each SIG has their own like folder here, and they have like documentation related to their particular SIG. So if I let's say open SIG node, I can find all the information related to this here, like when they have the meetings, things like that, and who are like the people who are like the technical leads and all of that. They would also have all the, yeah, these are all the sub projects that come under SIG node, and they would also have documentation about like how you can get started to contribute, get started contributing to SIG node. And so I'll share the repository link also, so you can like take a look, and if you find something interesting, but maybe something that you have worked with in the past or something like that, this basically has all the six. So if you like, spend enough time here, you will be able to find things which you find interesting. And always you can always like reach out to people. So here I know that there are like there is a channel called new contributors. Yeah, there is this channel called Kubernetes new contributors. You can ask your questions here, and people would be like happy to help you. Yeah, this everything that I had. Let me know if you folks have any questions, or we can end the call. We're like almost 6 minutes left in the call. Yeah, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Yeah, I think that was a very good overview over everything, and it was quite in depth too. So I think it should give us things to look at and figure out, and I think it should help us get started. So thank you, Sishan, for that.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I'm happy to have you folks around. Like, do be part of the community, and then keep showing up to these calls, and people like you will eventually get the chance to contribute. As I was like talking to Asa earlier, like showing up is like half the thing. Uh, if you spend enough time, you'll eventually be able to contribute, and then eventually take up different roles and things like that. Yeah. I don't have anything else to share, so ending the call 5 minutes early. Let me know if you have any questions.
Sounds good. We've got no questions.
Awesome. If you like come across anything that you want help with, you can like reach out to me in Slack. Mm, Yeah,
Yeah, sure, perfect. We have joined the Slack channels as well, so we'll definitely let you know if you have anything.
awesome. Awesome. All right, then I'll stop the recording.